Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yashala, Koholoim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the Akim and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Waf just coming at you with another quick lesson. I'm praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. This is an article that I seen in an independent military section, and it's entitled "America Trained Him to Fight, Then He Turned Against It. More like him are being radicalized." Right? So you can see. Now this is not a skin color thing because Israelites look like all nations. So this guy could easily be an Israelite because we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So this is not a skin color thing. Though Esau, the so-called white man, and we say so-called white man because they're actually pinkish to reddish in color, like you can see this guy, but it's not about color. But I'm thinking this guy's an Edomite. He kind of got that Edomite spirit as far as what I'm reading in the story, but there are Israelites that look like this, so we have to always bring that out. This is not a color thing. No one's black, no one's white. Those are social constructs that are made up by the so-called white race. And we say so-called because, again, they don't look like a glass of milk, man. They are actually pinkish to reddish in color. The scripture says that Esau was red and that he was a cunning hunter and that he was gifted with the sword and he would, be blessed with the fatness of the earth. And all those things fit the so-called white man. And spiritually and by faith, we know that this man is Esau. Right? So let's get into some of the article. And it says the U.S. military trained him. Matter of fact, let me see. Salaki, bear with me real quick. Okay. It says the U.S. military trained him in explosives and battlefield tactics. What a combination, huh? For him to be back in the Americas, ready to, he's gonna, he's got those skills, right? It says now the Iraq war veteran and enlisted National Guard member was calling for taking up arms against police and government officials in his own country. Standing in the North Carolina woods, Chris Arthur warned about a coming civil war. Here's the picture right here of him standing in the woods, right? You can clearly see. Hey, Esau not playing no motherfucking games, bro. And you, Jake, y'all just running around, y'all riding through the hood, smoking blunts and shit. These people ready to get down, man. They ready to get down. Okay, it says, videos he posted publicly on YouTube bore titles such as "The End of America" or "The Next Revolutionary War," and his telling the U.S. was falling into chaos and there would be only one way to survive: kill or be killed. And this is the way that Esau thinks. That's why the scripture says that he will be gifted with the sword. Let's go into Genesis chapter 27. This is he was begging for a blessing from our forefather Isaac, and this is what he was blessed with. You have to understand that this is a fight between Esau, Edom, and Jacob, the two sons that came from Isaac and Rebekah, because it's read in the New Testament and the Old Testament. Jacob is being spoken of in the New Testament along with Esau, just like they're both being spoken of in the Old Testament, and that story comes from here. And this is what you're seeing that's playing out in the earth. You're starting to see Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, fall, and the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are the Israelites, are starting to rise. The Lord is starting to turn the tide, so to speak, right? So this is let's see here, let's start at verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. So now Esau, if you go a couple of chapters back right here, chapter 25, let's get to his name, right? Verse 27, Genesis 25 and 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So Esau, who hunts the most? This is something that they do no matter where they are on the globe. It's not just America. So-called white people, they have to go hunting. If they can't go hunting, they feel as if their rights are being taken away from them if they can't go hunt, because they had that initial DNA to kill. They have to kill something. They can't kill you because they have laws, to stop that right off. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, they will, don't get me wrong, but to let off some of that steam and pressure, they're allowed to go out, deer hunting, rabbit season, whatever damn season. They got a season for everything. They hunt lions, tigers, and bears, buffalo. They hunt damn giraffe. They hunt elephants. They hunt gorillas. They hunt people. And that's why they get such a thrill out of entrapping you so-called blacks when it comes to police officers. That's a part of the hunt for them. But it says, verse 28, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Right? So now let's get that in a New Living Translation over here. Verse 30, Genesis 25 and 30. Esau said to Jacob, I'm starved. Give me some of that red stew. This is how Esau got his other name, Edom, which means red. So now let's go back to this guy right here. Is he white? Does he look like a glass of milk? Or does he look more like, a damn stop sign? Because they're pinkish to reddish in color. And that cunning hunter, you can't get around it. That's the reason why I was telling you, this guy's, what does it say again? It says that, let's see here, standing in the North Carolina woods. Why is he in the woods? Because Esau is a cunning hunter. He can live off the grid in the woods. That same scripture, it said that Jacob was a plain man. Jacob not trying to live in no motherfucking woods, man. They will, if it's comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Because Jake could live in a wood, but he wants to live comfortably, in a cabin, so to speak. He wants to be not necessarily outside of the elements, but he does want to be protected from wild ass animals. Esau don't give a fuck. He'll run up on a wild ass animal with a knife, man, and battle that shit out. He'll stand toe to toe with a bear. Jake not trying to do that shit. Anyway, let's get some more of this get some more information. It says he says that the end of America, or the next revolutionary war, and is telling the U.S. was falling into chaos, and there would be only one way to survive, kill or to be killed. And this is how they're gonna go out. But let's get another scripture though. Let's go into the Apocrypha on this, because it's nothing that he thinks that it's something that they can do about their fall, and it's not. They don't understand that the Lord is in control of the nations. They don't understand, because the Lord didn't create them to be spiritual like that. They don't have an inkling of understanding that the Lord is the one that set them up as a nation, and he's going to be the one that's going to take them down as a nation as well. But they're going to they're going to just be fighting against the will of the Lord, and it's not going to work. Okay, well, not that one. I want to go into 2nd Ezra chapter 6. Now, pretty much the same story I just read, but it's going to go off into, this is Esdras, the prophet Esdras. 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Let's start there. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? So Esdras is basically asking about the end of the world, or the end of the age. And that age or society is the end of Esau, the so-called white man, falling, his world falling, and the beginning of the Israelites' world to come up. So the so-called white race is about to fall, and while they're falling, the so-called black race or Hispanic Native American race, like I said, it's not a skin color thing, but we are the Israelites, and that's why we're categorized as those things. That's why we say that. But we are Israelites, and we're starting to rise. See, if you think back 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, we didn't have a chance. Now we actually can bear arms and defend ourselves against these people. It can be we still, got to go through the bullshit as far as the court of law, or, how the police may treat us and things of that nature. But what I'm saying is they've fallen off so far to the point where they can't just come up and burn no damn crosses in our yards no more. They can't just break into our house, snatch somebody out of the house and go and hang him somewhere, and there's nothing that we can do about it. See, that there was a point where the Lord had us in a spot where, we were completely helpless. Now the Lord has given us a little bit of light. I will put it that way. Verse 8, it says, 2 Ezra 6 and 8, it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first to Esau's heel. That's what we just I didn't read that verse in chapter 25 of Genesis, but that's what this is going into. If you notice it keeps talking about, this is even in the Apocrypha. So in the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament, the story is about Esau and Jacob, and how Esau is going to fall. The enemies of Jacob, which are the Israelites, are going to fall, and they're going to become captives, whose captives they were. Esau is going to pay for what he's done to the Israelites, and they're going into captivity, and they're trying their hardest to fight their way out of it, but they can't stop it. They're not going to be able to stop this from happening. This is prophetic. They can't, the scriptures talks about how the Lord's word will not return to him void. Whatever he sent it forth to do is going to do, and it's already going out, and it's been published already. Verse 9, 2 Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we know that this is not just the planet blowing up, because it says that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. This is going to be on earth. Heaven is going to be on earth, so to speak. Hell is going to be on earth for Esau, because this is his heaven right now. And he's put the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through hell the entire time that we've been here. Right? So, but this is right here. This is prophetic. This is happening right before our very eyes. For the end of the world, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See? So it's nothing they can do about this, but this is how they feel. And they can't help it. I mean, it's just prophetic that they're going to do what they're going to do here. It says, Arthur was posting during a surge of far-right extremism in the years leading up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. He wrote warcraft training manuals to help others organize their own militia. See that? If a so-called black person done some shit like this, you already know. You already know. It says, and he offered sessions at his farm in Mount Olive, North Carolina, that taught how to kidnap and attack public officials, use snipers and explosives, and design a fatal funnel booby trap to inflict mass casualties. See that? Hey, this is your man, that the cunning hunter, and he was gifted with that sword. I didn't get that part. Let's get that part too. Let's go back to chapter 27, Genesis 27, because this is a part of that blessing that he was begging for. Let's start at verse 38 again. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also. O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice, and he wept and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. That's why he's able to live out in those woods. Esau got the fatness of the earth, man. They be living in mountains and shit. Good ass fresh spring water and shit coming down off a waterfall and rocks and shit. They'll have a cabin somewhere, they come down and, do some fishing for food, and might have a little garden growing somewhere, but they'll, run out in the back of the yard and with a damn crossbow and hit a damn deer, bring his ass back to the camp and, cut him up, and they just out there just living, off the fatness of the earth, man. That's their gift, one of their gifts. Verse 40 is the point, though. And by thy sword shalt thou live. And they got that gift of the sword, that modern day weapon. Why you think this man is so accurate with his talking and speaking on booby traps and bombs and shit like that? Right? It says, and Esau hated Jacob. Let me see, Salakia. And verse 40 again. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So there was a point in time where we were in rulership, and prophetically, they broke the yoke, and here they are. They're still in, and pretty much this is like really their third rule or so, because they was in rulership during the Greek, our Greek captivity, so to speak, and when they were they're also the fucking Romans, and this is Rome all over again. So they've been able to rule for quite some time, but that shit is about to end. They've had a nice 1,000 or so years, or whatever amount of time, but that shit is about to abruptly end, and they're about to try and fight for it to not end, because they're not built for straight cut slavery, but they're gonna go into it, and it just is what it is. They're gonna have to take that shit on, man. Like, take it on the chin, man. Verse 41, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So he got the fatness of the earth, he got the gift of the sword, but he's hating on us because of that real blessing, that future of ruling forever and ever and ever again after this captivity. This man will never rule nothing ever again once he goes down on this after this particular rulership that's about to end for him. He's never going to rule again, and he's not taking that well. It says, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So he's always been after us, man. And it's only because of the Lord that we haven't been devoured by this man. Because if it was up to him, we would have all been deleted long ago. There wouldn't be one trace of us if it was up to these people. Okay, it says, while he continued to post publicly, military and law enforcement ignored more than a dozen warnings phoned in by Arthur's wife, ex-husband. Arthur's. Okay. Let's read that back. While he continued to post publicly, military and law enforcement ignored more than a dozen warnings phoned in by Arthur's wife's ex-husband about Arthur's increasingly violent rhetoric and calls for the deletion of police officers. This failure by the guard, FBI, and others to act allowed Arthur to continue to manufacture and store explosives around young children and train another extremist who would attack police officers in New York State and lead them on a wild 2-hour chase and gun battle. Yeah, because this is Esau's kingdom, man. See, they're not looking at their own violent ass people. They looking at you Jake, you so-called blacks, you know what I'm saying? And acting as if you're the real threat. But in reality, man, hey, these are their own people are the real threats to this country. It says Arthur isn't an anomaly. He is among more than 480 people with a military background accused of ideologically driven extremist crimes from 2017 through 2023, including more than 230 arrests in connection with the January 6th insurrection. At the same time, while the pace, and there's a bunch more of them, they just ain't came out of the woodworks as of yet. They're just waiting. It probably shit is in the millions of these people, man. You got, I think what they say is about 500 million people here. You better know that at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million, 7, maybe 10 million of these people are radicalized like this guy, man. It says at the same time, while the pace at which the overall population has been radicalized and increased in recent years, people with military backgrounds have been radicalizing at a faster rate. Because they done went to war, they done seen that they've been lied to. They see how the veterans are being treated. It's a lot of shit that, you know what I'm saying, they know stuff that the regular public just don't know or see. They understand that shit, man. Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Okay, but it goes on to say their extremist plots were also more likely to involve weapons training or firearms than plots. That didn't include someone with a military background, according to the Associated Press analysis of domestic terrorism data obtained exclusively by AP. This held true whether or not the plots were executed. And I mean, what can you do? By law, isn't this y'all? This the land of the free. Don't these people have a right to bear arms? At least it's what you say. Can't they train? You know, isn't militias legal in America? So what's the big problem here? See, they see what's popping, man. While the number of people involved remains small, yeah, that's what they saying. A bunch of these damn sleeper cells out here. The participation of active military and veterans gave extremist plots more potential for mass injury or death, according to the data collected and analyzed by the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses of Terrorism, or START, at the University of Maryland. START researchers found that more than 80% of extremists with military backgrounds identified with far-right anti-government or white supremacist ideologies, with the rest split among the far left, jihadists, and other motivations. See, so so-called white men are on they're on a higher rate than jihadists. It's being damn fucking terrorists, man. So why aren't they talking about this? And look at this crowd. We remember this. The crowd, January 6, 2021. They stormed the Capitol. And guess what? If Kamala or Gamala, because she's spitting that game to you Negroes right now. If she wins, this shit gonna be all out war, man. More than likely, man. I can't see it being no other way. Okay, it says in the shadow of January 6th attack on the Capitol, led in part by veterans, and a closely contested presidential election, law enforcement officials have said the threat from domestic violent extremists is one of the most persistent and pressing terror threats to the United States. And this is talking about you white people. But they act as if we're the super duper threat. A brother out on the highways and byways speaking, teaching the Bible. And this is why we tell you got these idiots, you Israelites that's running around out here and you armed to the T at fucking camp with a long rifle on you, 3 knives, 2 handguns, a damn crossbow over your fucking shoulder, looking stupid as hell. There's no need for that, man. All we're supposed to do is go out and teach the Bible, teach the scriptures, and prophesy the downfall of this place. Because see, these things are happening. The scriptures is actually happening. The Lord don't need you to go out there with your gun. Just to go out and teach the scriptures, man. It says, however, despite the increasing participation in extremist activity by those with military experience, there is still no force-wide system to track it. That's why I'm saying it's millions of these motherfuckers. I know it's got to be. I work in one of the cities where, and this is just one city. The city is like 97% so-called white. It's really a sundown town. And I work with people that's in these militias, man. You see them jogging in the morning. They be having a flag. They be having on fatigues and shit. And they'll be in a nice crowd, have a nice little amount of people. They be 20, 30, 40, 50 deep, 60, 70 deep. And they be jogging and chanting, little army shit, you know what I'm saying? But they're militias, man. That's what they do. So they don't have no way of tracking how many people are really into this shit, man. Because what's going to happen is, it's going to be people that's going to be popping up that you may have worked for or worked with. And they could have been the nicest person in the world to you. So-called white man. He's at the coffee machine. He's saying, hi, hey, how you doing? Oh, great day today. Yeah, and it's going, and next thing you know, he'll fuck around and pop up, and he's the head leader of one of these militias, man. Ready to tie your ass up, drag you away, and do a public hanging with your ass, man. Okay, but it says, and the AP learned the Defense Department researchers developed a promising approach to detect and monitor extremism that the Pentagon has chosen not to use. As part of the investigation, the AP vetted and added to the data and analysis provided by START and collected thousands of pages of records of hours of audio and video recordings through public records requests. Free of scrutiny in Mount Olive, authors stockpiled weapons, some with the serial number scratched off to make them untraceable. He trained a pack of Doberman pinchers as guard dogs. He rigged his old farmhouse where he lived with his wife, their 3 kids, and 2 children from her previous marriage with improvised explosives, including a bomb hidden on the front porch and wired to a switch inside. See? And don't think that his children, you don't think his children and his wife are involved? You don't think that these children know how to fucking build a damn explosive? This is how Esau gets down, man. You're not going to get around that. You don't think his wife knows how to trigger? She don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? She don't know how to put together a goddamn bomb? Come on, bro. As early as 2017, his wife's former husband had reported concerns about his children's safety to military, federal, and local authorities, according to call records and police reports. Hey, surprised he ain't got his ass knocked off. This guy ain't, sneakily hitting with a goddamn a poison frog dart or some shit. All the while, Arthur continued growing his business and connecting with more like-minded individuals. And I'm telling you, it's a lot of these people. In early 2020, a man with a raging hatred for police and an interest in building a militia in Virginia came to the farm eager to learn. Now, if anybody should, dislike police officers, it would be Jake. You don't hear about so-called black men getting together talking about no fucking militia to run down on the police. See? But they look at us like we're the most, the biggest threat on the planet. But trust me, they know. They know who's the real threat. Service members and veterans who radicalized make up a tiny fraction of percentage point of the millions and millions who have honorably served their country. However, when people with military backgrounds radicalize, they tend to radicalize to the point of mass violence, said Stark's Michael Jensen, who leads the team that has spent years compiling and vetting the data set. His group found that among extremists, the number one predictor of being classified as a mass casualty offender was having a U.S. military background, that outranked mental health problems, that outranked being a loner, that outranked having previous criminal history or substance abuse issues. The data tracked individuals with military backgrounds, most of whom were veterans, involved in plans to kill, injure, or inflict damage for political, social, economic, or religious goals. While some violent plots in the data were unsuccessful, those that succeeded deleted and hurt dozens of people. Since 2017, nearly 100 people have been deleted or injured in these plots, nearly all in the service of an anti-government, white supremacist, or far-right agenda. See? Damn, they got quite a bit on this story. I can't get it all, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But you get the point. But now, I will say. Now, let's get another scripture before I go into some of these comments real quick. Psalm 64:8. And this is also going into that shameful spewing, man. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So they're telling on themselves. Even though this may be somebody that's like, I work for a whole another agency and I want to stop this, but it's their own people that's actually telling on themselves, man. Now this Habakkuk 2:16. I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Verse 16, the point, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So, all those, we're number one country in the world, and we're fighting for democracy for everyone, and we love you all, and, now the world is starting to see that y'all some pieces of shit. That you are the problem with the earth. You're like a damn cancer, man. And they're being uncovered. That shameful spewing. Because these people are not just turning for nothing. If you were treating your soldiers well, they wouldn't have these types of problems, man. Just a bunch of damn weirdos anyway. But let's get some of the comments, because what you're going to see in the comments is this motherfuckers agreeing with this dude to be this way. This person, Jonathan Hooper or Hopper, says, yeah, well, look at the state of our government. Like any of us should be surprised that people are fed the fuck up and ready to do something about it. Politicians pulling shady shit, hiding behind our military. Wait till the military stops listening. Okay, so now let's just say if this was a so-called black guy, do you think that this man would have said the same thing? Hell no. He'd had comments about coming up and knocking y'all asses, knocking his ass off. Okay, Big Country says when the power is out and food is rationed and the mind takes over for survival and instinct, this is exactly what happens in a country with so much propaganda from both sides. This person says a slaughter is what happens in that situation. And yeah, that's true. That's what's coming. This person says a lot of us fought communists and state-sanctioned terrorism factions in many wars. Now our government wants to take our Second Amendment rights after fighting wars with military hardware, all the while that we're being invaded by unvetted or discovered known terrorists being released into our communities throughout the nation. Marxists, extremists, sympathizers, and socialists openly spewing anti-American rhetoric on Capitol Hill. A so-called President of the United States saying our U.S. constitutional amendments are not absolute. Hamas supporters wearing the same BS that our enemies wore during the global war on terror on our American campuses while burning our flags and chanting death to America. Keep letting it happen. Keep this BS up. All of that is treason and betrayal. Remember, freedom is defended and has the death penalty punishment written in the codes of laws for treason. Freedom must be defended at all costs. Enough has gone too far. He and others must face the punishments under law for their acts, all of them. Yeah, typical so-called white people shit. But they the ones that's, feeling like they have the rights, man. They're the ones that's feeling like they're the only ones that have these rights. They don't think about nobody else having these rights, man. Yeah, this person says, you know what causes this, right? The fastest country sliding into the toilet. And a vast majority of Americans are sick of it. Take today, for example, 200 million for a Ukraine, 400 plus million to buy votes, disguised as student loan forgiveness. Yeah, man. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of shit going on. Riverside County officers killed my 10-pound friendly dog, a corgi, and laughed about it. After Sheriff Chad Bianco is an extremist oath keeper who have been charged for the insurrection. Sheriff Chad Bianco's officers have been caught for rape, sex abuse, sextortion, offering hush money to cover up sex abuses, trafficking drugs, trafficking weapons, stealing, robbery, silencing people, etc. Chad Bianco is under investigation by the state, and for a good reason. He is a criminal. Trump said he will give law enforcement complete immunity, and Chad Bianco needs it. Oh, anyway. Yeah, it's a lot of division in this place, man. This person says we need militias in every county in America, and it's freedom guaranteed by the Second Amendment. Well, see, this is so-called white people saying this. It might be one or two black, it could be, a number of black militias. I'm sure some of them out there, but they're not going to be outnumbering these so-called white people. That's for goddamn sure. Yeah. This person says it's terrible that it's come to this. The wrong hands on the controls brings destruction without fail. Throughout the course of history, it requires even more than just a simple intelligence to lead masses. Slothfulness presents itself in many ways, trying to trick good people into carrying out bad plans while you snicker about how you got over. It's a tragic mistake. It's terrible. I don't think that those who are creating these problems have the slightest clue as to what they brought upon themselves. Yeah, but hey. Yeah, but anyway, man, there's plenty of these comments that's just showing that Esau has fallen and it's going to continue to fall. There's nothing that can be done about it. It is just simply prophetic. The Lord has spoken it. And the men of the Lord are speaking it, on the highways and byways, by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So it's nothing they can do about it. Let's see if I can find that one scripture. Yep, Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So when the Lord said that, Jacob is the Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, that word can't be returned void. That's gonna happen, and that's what you're witnessing, and that's what you're watching in the earth. So I'm gonna end out there, man. Walk circumspectly. We always say that. Be careful out here, especially right now because of these elections, man. These so-called white people, man, they're really pissed. Anything can happen, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they see anything darker than a paper bag, man, they're gonna get down. They could possibly get down on you, especially if they got drinks in their system and they got numbers on you. I always say that. Stay away from these NFL games. Stay away from these your MLB games. Your fucking anywhere where they outnumber you. You might want to take heed and stay the fuck away from those places, man, because like I said, if they get a couple of drinks in them and they got numbers on you, they'll get down on you. I just done a lesson with some Edomites following a so-called black. He appeared to be a teenager. I'm not sure how old the guy was, but hey, they pretty much, I can't even imagine what would have happened to the guy if it had been dark and he didn't have his phone out recording, but they, circling his ass like a lynch mob, man. So, be careful, man, when out here. Be circumspect with that. Kwam Yashala and the Bible Ball. And continue on praying for more of this stuff to happen so the shit can go ahead and turn up. Shalom.